Lebanese state TV says Syria's defence minister Daoud Raja and President Assad's brother-in-law have been killed in a suicide attack in the capital Damascus. The country's interior secretary was also injured in the attack. A rebel Islamist has claimed responsibility for the bombing. Sky's Foreign Affairs editor Tim Marshall is here. Tim, this looks like a very serious development today.
They're on the inside. That's the thing it tells us the most. The opposition is on the inside and has deep connections into the very heart of government. This is the National Security Building. It's supposed to be secure, the security building. And not only have they killed the defence minister, we think they've killed Shawkat. Shawkat, this is the defence minister here, 65-year-old Greek Orthodox Christian. And it's important to say that he's a Greek Orthodox Christian because the Christians have stuck with the Alawite minority-led government. Together they make up about 20% of the population. I think more important a figure than this general is Shawkat. Shawkat is married to the President Assad's sister, Bushra. He's the president's brother-in-law. And Shawkat is a key figure within the regime. I'm pretty confident he's an Alawite. And to get inside that close, it's one or both of two things. Either the army is cracking and the security apparatus is cracking and somebody on the inside has tried to take out the senior level of government, potentially for a move by other elements within it, or more likely, the opposition forces have now got enough people on the inside to carry out something like this to further their cause, that they're the ones that are going to take over. It comes on the fourth day of fighting inside Damascus itself. I think that might subside. I'm not sure how long they can sustain fighting unless this major event, and it really is, unless this tips some sort of uprising in the capital. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this has still got some way to go, but this is by far the biggest coup that the opposition forces have pulled off. They have killed several very senior people inside the Syrian government.
I guess speculators will think this may now lead to a major backlash by Assad's forces against the rebels. They
will go all out and they will try and find those responsible and try and find the link. Your line right at the very top, Samantha, I wasn't aware of. You said an Islamist group has claimed the attack. It's possible, but I think it's more likely that this is something to do with the opposition. Briefly, let's take a quick look at the map just to give us an idea of geography. Rawda Square is where we think the intelligence building is. See how close it is to the presidential palace. There's two, and the first one, well, that's a 5-minute walk. We've put Midan down there because that's where some of the fighting is taking place again today, and that's only 2 kilometres at maximum. The city centre is pretty much this area here, and the fighting is well inside the city centre now. And although these areas here are out, I think it's on the western mountains, they are actually close to where most of the big government buildings are. Rawda Square also near where the British Embassy used to be before it was closed.
Tim, we're just getting reports on Reuters that this suicide bomber worked as a bodyguard for President Assad.
See, that's what I'd heard, and that's why I was a bit suspicious about this idea that somebody's claimed it for an Islamist group. I'd heard it was his own bodyguard on the inside. If that's true, and it does appear to be, because a lot of the lines that have come out quickly have actually come from state television themselves. They are putting out quite a lot of information, and we're expecting a press conference, by the way, from the Information Ministry sometime within the next hour. If it's his bodyguard, somebody's got to his bodyguard. His bodyguard will be probably an officer. He will probably have had to have assistance. Was he checked on the way in? Who put him up to it? I mean, obviously he's not going to tell us now. He'll be long gone. But they're going to now have to trace back through the bodyguard and his connections to who he knew and try and find out if this is a bigger network inside the establishment or whether the opposition forces have found this weak link chain into the heart of government.
Meanwhile, the diplomatic efforts continue. Will that have a bearing on this meeting by the UN tonight? They're trying to put a new resolution together.
I don't think so. I mean, I think, and I've been arguing that for months we've been way beyond diplomacy. I don't see how diplomacy stops this. It's a fight to the death. Possibly there'll be a UN resolution. The British are tabling one, possibly today, possibly tomorrow, and they're ruling out military action. It's chapter 7, UN resolution which can be enforced by military measures, but if you include Article 41 in the Chapter 7 resolution, that specifically rules out military measures, which is what they're doing to try and get the Russians to vote for it. What it would then allow is you to use your power to stop Syrian communication systems, to really clamp down on the economy. You could even stop things coming into their ports or across their borders, which is why, even though there's no military measures involved in this, I think that the Russians will still say that's too hard, too much of an intervention. You're still trying for regime change via the Security Council, and I still think they'll probably veto it. But either way, it's just gone beyond that, and it went beyond that a long time ago. They're in a fight to the death.
OK, Tim, I know you'll keep an eye on developments there. This story very much moving as we speak. We'll speak to you later. Thank you.